All right, so what I'm going to do in this video and the next couple or so is I'm going to show you what I need you to do for homework, or if you haven't already done it in the class. So the first thing is we have a number of triangles, 3 triangles. Each one, by the way, uses a different trig identity in order to calculate the unknown side. So in this case, what do we know? We're trying to find side x, so we're just going to use either SO, ka, or toa. Remember, this means sine is opposite of hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So let's see what we know here. What are we trying to find and what do we know? Well, the only thing we don't care about at all is this one here, the hypotenuse. So anything with hypotenuse in is not interesting to us. So those two are out straight away. And we're left with tangent equals opposite, which we do know, over adjacent, which we're trying to find. So we're going to use tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to write all that in. So I've got tangent. So tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now it just happens that we happen to know the opposite. So that's going to be 20. So I'm going to pop that in straight away. So I'm going to have tangent, in this case, I know the angle. The angle's 42. Tangent 42 is equal to opposite. What was the opposite? The opposite was 20. So opposite, meaning the opposite side to the angle that we know. So tangent equals opposite over adjacent. That's going to be 20 over the adjacent, which we're trying to find. The adjacent is x. So I've got tan 42. Now, by the way, in your notes, you would definitely write this with a brackets around it, although technically, of course, you don't need to, but for any written work, any exam work, and certainly anything which is going to be marked, you need to put brackets around the 42, so it's very clear what you're doing. Now we're going to make x on its own, so I'm going to multiply both sides by x because we want to get rid of the denominator. If you multiply that by the denominator, you will get rid of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply this side by x, and I'm going to multiply this side by x. Of course, I could just abbreviate this as being x tan 42, which is what I'll do now. That's going to be x tan 42 is equal to, and of course the x divided by x is 1, leaving me with 20. But I don't want x tan 42, I want x. So I'm going to write x equals, I'm going to divide both sides by tangent of 42. Oops, tangent of, okay, oops. I'm trying to do a bracket and write 42. Not working well. Tangent 42, here we go. Of course, tangent 42 divided by tangent 42 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1, leaving me with x is 20 over tan 42. And this is where, see, I'm trying to write a 2 and write a bracket at the same time. It's not working well. Let's try that again. So tan 42. So this is where I'm going to use a calculator. And fortunately, these days calculators can make life pretty easy with all the different things they can do. So I'm actually just going to put this straight into the calculator. Here it is, x tan 42. So, oh, is it going to? Oh, it is on. Okay. I can't tell anymore. So I'm going to have 20 over tan 42. Lots of ways you could do this. I'm going to use the fraction button in this case. At 20, I'm going to use the fraction key over, and the fraction key, by the way, was this key here. So I was using this key here, and that makes that little mark appear on the screen. 20 over, and I'm going to put in brackets tan 42. So I'm just going to go over tan was tan 42. Notice, of course, I don't have to have the actual 42 in brackets. And what does that come to? It comes to 22.21. Lots of ways, as I say, you could do that. So x, by the way, is 22.21. Of course, it doesn't really look like 22.21, does it? It looks actually like a lot longer. But it can't be a lot longer because this is only 42 degrees. And 42 degrees really would be an angle which would be quite a bit steeper, yeah? Anyway, let's do it another way just to be sure. So I've got 20 over tan 42. So let's have a shot at that. So lots of ways you could do this. So you could go 20 divided by brackets tan 42, close brackets, here we go. and I still get the same result. Now this is in meters, so I'm not going to have to worry about degrees or anything. And I will just put, well, I assume it's in meters. There's no actual unit here, but I'm going to say it's in meters just so I have made it a unit. And there is this correct solution.